We've designed a unique building.
A single enclosure.
Containing a church, a synagogue and a mosque.
This is not a multi-faith space, as found in airports, hospitals and the like.
And we are not saying that all religions are one, or should be one, and that everyone should live together and disregard difference.
We are saying that religion is difficult and complex, and that different religions do differ in beliefs and practice.
We are also saying that just as there is a history of conflict between the faiths, there is also a greater history of tolerance and coexistence, and that this coexistence takes effort and planning.
The Muslim population is the fastest growing faith group in the UK, and mosque building has expanded exponentially over the last 50 years, reflecting this demographic trend. The mosque is amongst the newest architectural typologies in Britain, with a 120-year history, around 200 purpose-built examples and another 1,300 converted buildings across the country. British mosques are grassroots community projects. They are conceived, designed, funded and procured through the voluntary efforts of their Muslim communities. They are often located in the working class inner city areas where Muslim populations are generally concentrated, and they often represent the most significant civic projects happening in these locales. Through these mosques, communities that have faced generations of deprivation, discrimination and marginalisation are altering the landscape of their towns with institutions and architectures that signify their presence, ambition and cultural distinctiveness.
Christianity is unpopular in British architectural circles. Also, opportunities to build new churches are very rare indeed. A tiny percentage of the population attends church, while the land is littered with church buildings. The churches we work on are for poor inner city congregations. They'll sell a piece of land to rebalance their books and save their church. What do our church clients want here in East London? Beauty? Not particularly. First and foremost, they want good facilities and they want a reliable bank balance. Given these things, they will survive and endure. And the good thing about strong, revitalised churches is that they have a strong influence in their localities.
As a wandering nation, accommodating the UK Jewish community's requirements is a challenge for any architect. The ebb and flow of demographic and geographic changes in the Jewish community means buildings that houses schools, charitable organisations and synagogues have a continually evolving set of demands. In previous generations, synagogues were intentionally low-key, often copying the style of the host nation to avoid excessive attention. We are committed to creating a spiritually elevated and intermediary space between heaven and earth where believers can connect to the ultimate architect. Buildings of meaning that transform the profane into something sacred.
This scheme refers to the history of religious buildings and cities that have been shared through time by the three faiths, from Jerusalem to Istanbul, to Seville, to the Great Mosque of Cordoba, to the Hagia Sophia, to the Brick Lane Mosque. Both architecturally and culturally, the three faiths have an intertwined and symbiotic series of relationships.
This project therefore brings together all of these historical and cultural references into one contemporary spatial experience. So we have sensitively tried to bring the three religions physically together, using each of our knowledge of religious practice, habits, customs, rules and restrictions.
Therefore, the church has a nave, an altar and a font and seats. The synagogue, a bema and ark and seats too, with men and women each in separate sides, and it faces Jerusalem. The mosque faces Mecca, is carpeted for kneeling and has a central mihrab and separates the prayer halls from men and women.
We have adhered to these known rules and have not deviated from them. But universal natural light from hidden places and beauty are common to all three religions. The roof, a simple plane, is held up by a curving tree-like structure springing from a single point in the plan. And privacy, quiet, and the importance of washing and water are also common themes.
We say that this building is a mosque on Friday, a synagogue on Saturdays and a church on Sundays. For each of these days, this is what they are and nothing else.
For the rest of the week, the building is open to all for reflection and prayer. The building would be managed and financed collectively as an act of sharing and cooperation.
Could this project be built? Just having to ask that question shows how perhaps unlikely this is. But it could be built temporarily, perhaps as a festival piece, to open up a debate and to create something unusually spiritual and undoubtedly beautiful.